Today I'm taking a look at these Insta360 cameras. So the one I have here is the Link 2 Pro, which comes with a gimbal, and then we also have the Link 2C Pro, which comes without the gimbal here. When it comes down to like components, pretty much they're identical. So let's go ahead and open these up and see how they perform. Looking at what we get inside the box here, on the left I have the Link 2 Pro, which is the gimbal version. The camera itself definitely looks very solid, high quality. At the top we do have the microphone section, and on the bottom of the base here we do have the USB Type-C, and then we also have some connectors. So that's for a different accessory for what we're doing here. We don't really need that. Checking out the stand here, so it is magnetic, so you can go ahead and just put this on there. You're able to pretty much adjust this any way you want to. So the rest of the items here, we do get a USB Type-C cable here with a USB Type-A to Type-C adapter, and some of the manuals, some stickers here, and I believe these are some tracking points. On the right hand side here I have the 2C Pro, pretty much identical except the gimbal here. So if I place them side by side, same dimensions and all that. So right now everything you're seeing is coming directly from the Link 2 Pro. And in terms of lighting, I don't have that much lighting, like there's no lighting in front of me or anything like that. I didn't want to make it all perfect and all that. I just want to go ahead and show you like what you would expect if you were just gonna go ahead and mount this on your desk. The other thing is the audio you're hearing is coming directly from the Link 2 Pro, and the room is a little bit on the smaller side, so there's a little bit of an echo going on as well. But just so you can kind of get the idea of how good it sounds. Connected, I also have the wireless Pro here, the Rode. So you can just kind of compare like my lavalier with the Link 2 Pro. Usually I'm not a big fan of installing apps and all that stuff on my PC, but this one has a nice clean look, which I kind of like. So let's go ahead and begin and check out some of the settings here we're able to go ahead and adjust. So on the left here, I've gone ahead and left the camera at 4K at 30 FPS. Here we're able to do the horizontal, vertical flip, and then also we're able to go ahead and choose the microphone. The next thing we see here is the AI tracking. If I go to the settings here, so I have single tracking, group tracking, smart composition. Then we also have a tracking area, pause track area, more tracking settings here. So if I go more tracking settings, these are what we're getting. So let's go ahead and turn on the AI tracking. This one, I did get the chance to test it out a bit earlier, and it does a really good job. So I'm just going to go ahead and stand and just like start moving around. And it does a pretty good job. Even if you're like moving fast, it's still like able like to go ahead and track you. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you the manual controls. You're able to go ahead and control the gimbal in two ways. You can either like grab your screen and like drag it here, as you can see. So I can like zoom in. Note that this is like all digital zoom. So the less zoom you have to do, the better it is. So it works well, the tracking here. Or to go ahead and move the camera around, you can also use this on the right hand side here as well. One thing that I really like is we're able to go ahead and set up scenes. So if I go ahead and point it here, and let's just go ahead and set a preset. Now I can go back and forth. And it is pretty quick. As you can see here, the camera does move very fast. Like I can, like as soon as I click, it just like goes right away. Now jumping to the effects. So we're able to go ahead and turn on some of the blur and all that. But one thing is I didn't find it works that well. As you can see here, it's like moving. Even if I get a little bit closer to the camera here, it doesn't do that well of a job. Maybe if you leave it at blur and just like leave it like the least, this way it's less noticeable. I think it looks better. So this is the bokeh effect here. So even with this one, if you go ahead and put the intensity a little bit lower, it does look a little bit better. We also have the option of turning the green screen here as well, which would work definitely better than the virtual backgrounds there. Next, I have the filters here. Some of these do a pretty good job. Like if I go under daylight here, or vintage, even actually like the vintage one, I kind of prefer it better than the original one. It's just like the colors and the skin tones look a little bit better to me here. And then there's some more settings like makeup, beauty, and all that. But those you're not able to go ahead and apply because we have it at 4K right now. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the more important stuff here. So we have HDR, white balance, and all this stuff. So if I go ahead and turn off HDR, just keep an eye on like on the background area here. And so right now the HDR is off, and as you can see, like much darker all around because there's like really, I don't have like lights around me or anything like that. So keeping the HDR definitely does make a difference here. One other thing you can notice here, everything is on auto. So if I go ahead and check on white balance, I'm able to go ahead and adjust it to whatever I want to here. Let's just go ahead and leave it on auto right now. It does a pretty good job. And then exposure, this is the one like I would technically leave it at manual and go ahead and adjust it once. So it just doesn't keep on adjusting the ISO, shutter and all that by itself. So right now, if I go ahead and adjust the ISO to 200, I think it looks better rather than where it was 250 because there's like a little bit more highlights on my head here. So let's go ahead and leave it at 200. I think it looks better. And the shutter is at 1/30 here. If you're doing like a video recording, you kind of want to leave it at 160. It does make more sense, but that means you're going to have to up the ISO here a bit as well. But one thing, if you notice, is if you play with the exposure curves, you kind of have to be a little bit careful. As you can see, the clipping going on the lights behind me a little bit there. So let's go ahead and leave it on default. And down here, we have some more micro adjustments like brightness. We're able to go ahead and adjust here as well. So pretty straightforward to go ahead and adjust all the settings under image there. Next, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at something down here. So we do have a desk view. So if I go ahead and click this, the camera points right away down here. So if you're sharing that like something here, you can go ahead and like share that. One thing you can see here, I have the stickers that I showed earlier when I did the unboxing. So these are for a whiteboard. So you would pretty much place the corners like at the end. So that way when you go ahead and click the whiteboard, it knows exactly where it needs to focus on. So under desk view here, we are able to make some adjustments here as well. You can see like I'm able like to go ahead and move the camera as well, left and right. So right now I have it on autofocus, and if I go ahead and bring this close to the camera, you can see the focus speed here, and it does a pretty good job actually. And now back to me, and here we go again. So on manual mode, you're not really getting like any assisting lines or anything like that. So, but you have here 0 to 100%. So one thing with the gestures, they don't really work that well all the time. So I would rather just keep them off. And one thing I found with any AI camera, whenever you're using any gesture controls, like with like myself, I'm like when I talk, I'm like moving my hands, and then I'm like triggering the AI tracking and all that. So usually I like to go ahead and leave these off. So right now, everything you're seeing is directly from the Link 2 Pro here. It's not I'm not like recording my screen or anything like that, just so you can kind of get an idea of how good this looks. And so one thing you can notice is the AI tracking does work pretty well, even if I'm hidden like behind the camera right now. If I go on this side and then come back here again, it knows, it picks me up. Usually I never leave any of these AI tracking features on, but for this one I don't mind it's there because it's very subtle and it's not like going crazy moving the camera every time like I'm doing any like small movement, which is nice. And another thing here at the bottom of the camera, we have a touch button. So if I go ahead and press it right now, it's going to go ahead and turn AI tracking mode on. And if you want to go ahead and turn off the camera for any reason, it does go to auto sleep when the camera is off, or you can just go ahead and point it down and then it just turns it off. So right now you can see device is in privacy mode. If I go ahead and click quit, it's gonna go ahead and come back again. Now let's turn off all the lights and see how it performs there. So right now it's just like the monitor and my PC, a little bit light coming off, and this is how it looks like. Right now I do have the light at like around 10%, so it's very low, and it still looks good here. There's not much noise going around here, except like the darker areas like around back there, but overall it looks pretty good. One thing that I really like is the indicator. So the green ring indicator here, that shows the camera is on. So if I go ahead and turn off the camera, you can see it goes off. So now you know for sure the camera is off. But not just that, now in a few seconds, it's gonna go ahead and point down. So you know 100% the camera is down. And that covers it all. Hopefully I was able to go ahead and help you if you're looking to purchase this camera, so you can kind of make your decision for yourself with the quality you're seeing here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.